evening and welcome to Modern Spiritualist Today. I'm Aeson. I'm sitting down with premier psychic Hazel Firefly from the British Isles. How are you, darling?
I'm okay. I'm a hot, sweaty mess.
I know. Have you watched any of the Olympics that's just across the pond to you?
The bits I like about the Olympics haven't been on yet.
Okay.
I like it later on as it goes on.
Okay. I haven't watched any of it. I will wait to see the clips because there's only two sports I like: javelin
See,
throwing and swimming.
I like swimming. I also like the diving, but I miss that.
I know. That's okay. That's
But
what
never
YouTube's
mind.
for.
Could you imagine me diving? Yeah, right.
Oh, I can imagine you diving. You know,
It's more like belly flopping.
I know. So, but no, it just seems like this year is flying by with all the different things going on. Hello, Miss Brenda. How are
Hi,
you?
Brenda.
Yeah, but the Olympics is in Paris. There was a very big uproar about them swimming
I
in
wouldn't want to
the
go
river
swimming in the
Seine.
rivers.
Well, here's the thing with it. It's kind of like swimming in the Thames. I wouldn't swim in the Thames either because for like 200 years it was your sewer system.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know what's in our rivers. You go paddling and you come out with a turd around your ankle.
You go paddle and you'll come out with 2 or 3 heads.
So no, I don't blame them, not at all.
Yeah. But apparently, like the president of France went swimming at it, the mayor of Paris went swimming at it. And I'm like, and that proves what?
Yeah, they'll have disease next week.
Yeah, I'm not too happy with the president of France. Like, I'm not impressed by him.
I'm not impressed with a lot of people at the moment. I think they all need their heads banging together.
Well, he reminds me of Boris Yeltsin. A lot of mouth, very little action.
Yeah. We've had a big one over you today. You probably won't get it until tomorrow. As you know, it's summer holidays over you for the
Right.
next 6 weeks.
Yeah, in
And
2 days, everybody in France leaves.
somebody walked into a children's play area and went on a KNIFE spree.
Went on a sword spree, did they?
Killed 2 children.
Oh, goodness.
And I think they've said there's 6 in critical condition. Oh, there we are. Brenda, I've seen that. Brenda's got the news before you.
Yeah. Again,
It's
I
so
don't try to
sad.
keep up with it because I can't.
No.
Yeah.
No. But viewers will be pleased to know we've got our next schedule right up until December time, I believe.
Up until November, yeah.
Yeah, I have got the book. Ah, here it is. It's gone to the back of the drawer.
It's hiding from us.
It is. Right, where are we? Got so many bleeding books with things written in.
Well, that's how many projects you've gotten.
You are sorry?
I said, that's how many projects you got.
We've got, just to give our viewers something to look forward to.
Right.
We've got twin flame connections coming up.
Yep.
We've got energies from the moon, meaning Mercury retrograde and the changing of the cycles.
Mm-hmm.
That's all for this month. We've also got scripting.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all good things to look forward to the next few weeks.
It is. Now, today we're talking about Alzheimer's, and I'm going to give a trigger warning here. I'm going to piss some people off. Promise you. The complaint department is idon'tcare@aesonnight.com. Feel free to email it there all you'd like. They'll get to you as promptly as hell freezes over.
Autism is I'm going to say it's a wide area. There's
It's a
so
very
many.
spectrum thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
autism can be from something as somebody not being able to make eye contact
Mm-hmm.
or communicating while looking at somebody,
Right.
to being at the top of the scale where they can't make any communication at all.
Right. Totally nonverbal.
Yes, yeah, that was the word I was looking for.
Right.
It's so, I'd say the spectrum is massive.
It is massive, and I think it keeps expanding as we go along, as we begin understanding the human brain, which is what it's
Yes,
tied to. It's not tied
yes,
to not, in my opinion, it's not tied to not making eye contact or not being able to be verbal or not being a good communicator. It's tied to point blank your wiring of your brain and
yes.
what centers are electrified and what centers are not.
Yeah, I agree with you totally, because it's lack of brain activity, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
that starts things moving.
Mm-hmm. Very much
But
so.
do you have, I got to pick the correct words now. Do you have special educational schools over there for
We don't have
children with,
special educational schools. We have what's called integrational education.
right,
So they're taught in special ed in the same building.
right, right. Now, over here is completely different.
Right.
Um, if they can't cope with mainstream school,
Mm-hmm.
they get a managed move.
Okay.
That's normally to a unit that is all like-minded, where there's more one-to-one tuition.
Okay.
For the children that are completely non-verbal and can't do anything for themselves, we have special schools for that, which they are brilliant. They give them everything they need and
Uh-huh.
make sure, well, make sure they teach them life skills to the best that they can.
Right. And also, and Brennan broke the communication thing. Because you can have a nonverbal student that is able to fully type and text to you completely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And those are skills they have to learn, and it's not going to be taught in a normal educational system.
They find ways over here of allowing them to find their own ways to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is brilliant because it allows them to evolve in the way that they need to.
Right. Or try to fit into our system. That's
Yes,
the
yeah.
difference here, is trying to fit them into the system. Hello, 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 Miss Shannon. How are you? Coffee's on the left. Please don't bump into the wall. Thank you very much.
Shannon, you didn't slide in because the door slammed behind you.
She didn't sneak in, she slid in. And when she does this, you remember the scene from, I think it is Home Alone or something like that, where he's in like boxers and socks and is just sliding through the house.
On the wooden floor.
Yeah, that's what I picture her doing, except in kitty heels, just sliding in into her seat.
Oh, God.
So,
Yeah,
I'm risky business.
risky
That's it.
business.
Okay,
Oh,
so here's my take on this, because I was at a fair and a lovely mother had a lovely child that was nonverbal, could not walk, could not talk, like sweet energy, very sweet energy. And I overheard a psychic say something, and I wanted to walk up and punch the psychic.
yeah, yeah.
He's just a high vibration, such a wonderful soul that took on a special mission to come into this plane. You take it
That's
from
not
there, honey.
that's not something a parent wants to hear.
No.
A parent have probably brought the child out because they're so pissed off of being stuck in. People with children to that severity of autism, they get ignored. They get people feeling sorry for them in some respects. They want to be treated as normal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this little child is still a human being.
Mm-hmm.
if somebody had said something like that to me, they would have been decked there and then.
Right.
You know, because that's total disregard for the parent.
Right.
And I would even go as far as to say, as for the child as well.
Oh, I think totally. I know the child on an empathic level is like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I cleaned that up.
Yes,
Yeah,
Shannon, we are.
we are.
Do you know, like I don't hide it, Sean has autism. He's on the lower end of the bracket.
Okay.
Give him a pile of shit and he will build a mansion.
Uh-huh.
Children on the spectrum are so clever. They just don't know how to express it.
Right. They have to be allowed to. And I
Yeah,
think the whole problem is it has to do with our educational system. It is
yeah,
so outdated. It is
yeah.
so um, problematical that it's
I'd
ridiculous.
say some of the education system, when it comes to special educational needs, they
Uh-huh.
are still living in the dark ages.
Yes, they are.
To me, when you're working with a child with autism, you've got to allow the child to lead you along so that you can see what fits them best and then work with them within the
Right.
situation.
Right. And I'm trying to remember the book because the book was a wonderful book. It turned into a great movie. And I read it probably 20 years ago. That's the problem, is it's an older book. And it's about a family that, the father just stops and just takes care of the child with, I would say, mild level autism.
Yeah,
And because he gets the one-on-one attention, because the father learns to work with him and learns how to get onto that level, he's able to go and live a functional life.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My pet hate is when you see a mum or dad in a shop, their kid is having a meltdown. It's happened to me when Sean was younger.
Right.
And you get people walking past saying bloody disgusting. They need to sort their kids out. That really makes me angry.
Well, it makes me infuriated because it's none of their business.
No, no,
You know,
no.
and there's a difference between a child having a meltdown or an oversensory session
Yeah,
and a brat. And I'm
yeah,
sorry, I can tell the difference.
yes, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And I will go out of my way to talk to somebody with special educational needs
Yeah.
because they're human. Yesterday, where was I going? Me and Sean were taking Parker home,
Uh-huh.
and there was a group of them. I'd say they were young adults. They were out with their workers and they were just, it was a sunny day
Right.
and they were stopped waiting for the lights to turn red for them to cross.
Uh-huh.
So the lights turned red, so I stopped and there was one young man. He had like a dye cap on, we call them. The farmers wear them. They're like a peaked hat.
Uh-huh.
And he kept raising his hat and, you know,
Uh-huh.
saying thank you. And I waved to him and he had the biggest smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Something as simple as that can change the day for them as well.
Right. And depending on the level, it's depending on
Yes.
what, their capabilities are. Brenda's cousin apparently can do anything with electronics or computers. He was so advanced, but on other things now. And it's because
Yeah.
his mind probably processes faster. It works better that way. Okay.
Yeah. And that's normal as well, Shannon.
Right.
It's like Sean today, he bought a motorbike. You can guarantee within a week that motorbike will be up and running
Hmm.
because that's how clever he is with motorbikes.
Right. But that's his specialty. That's his font.
Yeah, and all that is self-taught as well.
Right.
And that's why I say every child with autism, even the children that struggle talking and are non-verbal, they've all got that something special within them that they can do.
Exactly. And see, I think that I have a problem when we say that children that are nonverbal or not it's like they can't do anything. It's like, no, you have to find what clicks for them.
Yeah, yeah,
What's their hyper focus? What's their skill that, maybe they make beautiful linens, but
yeah,
it's finding that built in native skill to them.
yes,
Maybe it's gardening,
definitely.
you know, but it takes a bit. But they're very much into routine. They're very much into
Yes,
like it's 5 o'clock. I got to do this, this, and this.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what it's about, is learning and us learning as parents to know how to work with them rather than against them.
right. And the problem is we've got a system, at least in the U.S., that works against.
I think our system over here have got better. They're very slow in diagnosing things, but they are getting better.
Right. Here, I don't feel like it has. I've talked with my super nieces and my super nephews, and the educational system's still the same.
Yeah,
There's a few
yeah,
things. I had to sue the school board to get a laptop into school when I was in school, but it's gotten a little bit better. But mostly, it's still the same. They're still
yeah,
not advancing students. They're still not looking at students' needs and finding their accommodations. They're keeping them into the same. All right. Well, if everyone, our lowest member in this classroom is a third grade level, so we're going to keep teaching on a third grade level. Well, that doesn't help when you've got
no, no,
BD, LD, and dyslexics and autism spectrum and ADHD
yeah,
spectrum all in the same room. You can't teach that way.
no, no. I don't put it out there a lot. When I first moved to Norfolk, I
Mm-hmm.
was in primary school running breakfast club, running dinner time clubs, running after school clubs. And
Uh-huh.
that's where I got my enjoyment, seeing the kids enjoying what they liked
Right.
and showing me how they done things. Because
Right.
that's what it's about. It's about allowing them to
Right.
show other people what they can do and how good they are at doing it.
Exactly. And understanding how they do it.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah,
And the level of misdiagnosis, especially between the 80s and now, oh honey, the
yeah,
things that come up out of their mouths now and the initials that come with it is ridiculous.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something really bad about our education system. Sean works all the maths out in his head.
Right.
He can't put the answer on paper, but he works out the answer in his head.
Right.
Because he couldn't show the workings out in his exams, bearing in mind they'd already said he was destined for an A,
Right.
because he couldn't put the workings out on paper, he failed.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Was the answer right? Yes. Then what's the
yeah,
problem?
yeah,
That would have been my argument. And that's been my argument.
yeah. But you know the same as us. We go look at something, we've worked it out, and then we
Yeah.
write the answer.
Yeah.
But they weren't happy with that because he couldn't show the workings out
Does it matter? Does it?
to the examining board, so they say yes.
Well, to the examining board, they're idiots. I mean, you
Yeah,
need to know the answer. Do you really
yeah,
care how he comes up with how many slices of pie is in pie?
yeah, yeah. It just don't make sense the way, and I'm going to say it, that children get discriminated against because of it.
Right. And that's why parents have to be their own advocates, especially when we
Yes,
go into the metaphysical and New Age community. Like, I've had deaf students, I've had students with ADHD, and there's a way to work in all those arenas.
yes, yeah,
Okay. But you have to as a facilitator, have to be able to educate yourself on it so that you
yes,
can work with it. The other part, however, is they have to advocate. Like, if I have a student who's ADHD, I'm not going to know it until they advocate, unless it's real bad. And then
Yes.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is what we're going to do with your lesson work. You're going to present your lesson work in 5 bits instead of 1.
Yeah. Because breaking it down is not such a big thing for them, because it's littler things that they can get their head round.
Exactly. Or, it's little things they can keep their focus on.
Yeah.
That's the harder thing there, is keeping focus for ADHD. Is even if they're interested, they get tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Same thing with autism. I hate saying low spectrum. Autism high functioning.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I think the spectrum is really broad, because they can't just put everything in one bracket, because they don't know what all the symptoms are.
Right, and I think they're still trying to work that out. I also think that
Yes.
probably in 30 years they will have a way to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I mean by that is it'll be treated like diabetes. Here's your maintenance medication to fix your brain chemistry to make the
Yeah.
correct signals fire in the correct spots.
Because they've already got that for ADHD.
They do.
I think it's called Ritalin, if I remember
Oh,
rightly.
the spectrum of medication is all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because hello, ADHD, if you haven't figured it out, you can look at my social feed and see that I'm a little bit hyper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it comes to the point where people need to understand that everybody is human.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm shopping and a kid says hello to me, I always make a point of speaking to that child,
Right.
because I wouldn't want any child to have, oh, well, that lady hasn't spoken to me,
Well,
and
let's
things
take it
like
even
that.
deeper. You don't say hello to that child. That child immediately thinks that something's wrong, because there is
Yes.
a predestined mental
Yeah.
piece in our head that makes us want to fit in, and that
Yes.
piece is part of what originally kept our tribes functional and kept us
Yes.
together and was part of our survival. If we look at the lion attacking the pack of gazelles, he's going to look for the one that stands out. He's going to look for the one that doesn't do
Yeah.
things. And I
Yeah.
think that we as humans translate that still even today.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really strange, because over here, it seems to be that autism numbers are growing,
Mm-hmm.
because they're giving diagnosis a lot earlier.
Well, and that causes me to question. Okay, because if we look back at the 80s, everyone got stamped with ADHD. It was a postage stamp. Child won't sit down in class, ADHD, slap some Ritalin in. Child
Yeah.
won't sit down, won't talks about the teacher, slap some, a Medicaid in him. ADHD, like they ran through with a rubber stamp over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope they're not doing that with autism.
No, they're really understanding over here with it. For years, Sean was known as the class clown, not
Mm-hmm.
because he was naughty, because he used to do random things.
Right.
And I think he was 13 or 14 when he was diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
But it took so long to get that diagnosis. And I think now they're acting sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Now more children are getting the educational needs that they need.
Which is the most important part. As
Yes.
long as it is the education they need, the adaptive education they want, and what's more important is the adaptations.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's also hard for the parents to get their head around.
Very much so, because the parents nowadays, we're not taught, they're our age,
Yeah. Yeah.
or our kids' age, and those are still looking at low functioning low functioning autism. When you go, and it's like, no, my kid doesn't have autism.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're able to
My
communicate.
my biggest saying is, we have these children, but you're not given manuals on how it should be.
Right. And the manuals that
So
we do have are 200 years old. Sit down, shop, and don't speak to anyone.
yeah. Yeah.
Don't touch anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you speak to them in a way, they understand you a lot more.
They do.
As probably Brenda and Shannon will agree with. You treat
Right.
them as a human, you get so much respect from them.
Well, you do, but it's got to match your vibration.
Yeah.
If you come at, I don't care what level of child, we can have a newborn baby. You pick up that newborn baby in a bad mood, and it's going to scream at the top of its lungs. Nothing wrong
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Without a doubt. Because at the end of the day, we go lead by example.
Yes, we do, and we also have to understand where people are at.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if they are not at a specific spot, then you don't need to be talking to them about things they don't give a dang about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing in the world of metaphysics, which you're already, we're already set up camp in the left field. Like we've got the tiki torches rolling, we've got the band and all that going on.
Is she on your bloody camera?
Well, no, she's sitting down here at the desk, but yes.
You was jumping a bit.
Yeah.
For our new viewers, we have a guest little entrance every week.
Yeah.
Before the end of the show, she always comes and sees us.
Mm-hmm.
With her little purrs and her little sitting on the back of the seat.
Right.
But no, you're right. It's all about physics. It's all about... People say communication is only talking, but it's not.
Right. It's body language. It's signs. It's touching. It's the energy you put off.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, most children with autism don't like being touched.
No, they don't. And it's because it's too much sensory.
Yeah. Yeah. If I see, like, if a child falls over, especially in our area, because we got a lot of children, I'll always say, is it okay for me to pick you up? Not go straight in and pick them up. Because
Right.
you don't know what's going on, sort of thing.
Right.
And then you got other children that run up to me, jump on me for a hug. And that's okay as well, because that's what it's about.
Exactly. But you have other children that are like, don't touch me. Don't
Yeah.
get near me. I don't
Yeah.
like that energy exchange. Because if we look at it on the psychic level, when you hug somebody, you're combining your energy with their energy.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? So that may be too much on so many levels because, of course,
Yeah.
they are highly sensitive
Yes.
because they have no verbal communication. They're on an energetical level. They're on an energetical wave. They also
And
don't want people falling all over them.
they're so spiritual.
Very.
And that was why we done the autism conversation this evening, this afternoon, for yourself, of course.
Right.
Because they're so sensitive, they are like in their own little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, spiritual people, we have our own little bubble.
Right. And we've got to watch that bubble.
And I
Very
think that's
carefully.
yes. And I think that's the same with people with autism. They have very few friends
Mm-hmm.
who they allow close to them, but they have acquaintances.
Right.
Which is the same as us. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
we're spiritual, but we don't invite people into our bubble until we know we can trust that person.
And I think at times we get jaded glasses, and I'm sure older autistics get the same way. It's
Yes.
like, I don't want to deal with you.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
And a lot of that has to do with the level of putting up that I'm sure they've had to do with people that do what I call fawning or love bombing them, and it's like, go away.
Yeah.
I don't care if you think that I am part of the fifth dimension. I've come here to raise the vibration of the earth, and I am some super spiritual soldier. Don't touch me.
Yeah.
You know.
It's so funny. When we go to the dentist, they got on Sean's notes that he don't like to be touched.
Right.
because when he's laying in the chair, you can imagine they're doing all the work, and there's this older lady there. She hasn't come to grasp with autism and
Right.
special needs yet. So when he's laying in the chair, she's stroking his arm, and you could see his toes pointing.
Uh-huh.
But he respects the fact that she's an older lady.
Uh-huh.
And he said, but Mum, I can't tell her, but I can't stand her touching me either.
Right. And that's when you got to say, that's when I think you as the parent have to intervene and go, he doesn't like touch.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Evelyn, the lady who treats him, she says, okay, Sean, I'm now going to do this, so I'm not going to touch you.
Uh-huh.
You know, just to explain everything to him. But it's
Right.
really, even the age he is, it shows that he respects and understands that other people don't understand the
Right.
meaning of things. Yeah,
Yeah. Or
yeah,
the adjustment of things. And I think because, like, when I'm reading, I don't like touched. Like, don't
yes,
walk up to me in a reading and put your hand on my shoulder. It's like, I don't want
yeah,
your energy zapping into mine.
yeah,
That type of thing.
yeah. Because when we're in the zone, we're in the zone.
Exactly. And there's a debate on whether, and I think there are some autistics that could be super, super, um, super able to handle things, super able to
Yeah,
continue doing things, super able to manage through all their needed
yeah,
necessities, so that they can be able to be comfortable. But also, I think there is some, if there is autisms that are savant level in mechanics and computers, there's got to be a savant level psychic,
yes.
which I haven't met yet, but I think would be phenomenal.
Both my boys are gifted.
Right. But neither one
Neither
of
of
them
them,
use it.
no, no. I've asked if they want to use it, and they're like, no,
They have no
no,
interest.
no.
And that's the other thing is part of the thing of working with autism is finding their interest. It could be
Yes,
anything.
yeah. And that's the main thing. It's like, we know what it's like to be in a bad mood.
Hmm.
We can have conversations that can snap us out of that mood instantly.
Right.
But children with autism, they have to digest everything. They have to hear something 3 or 4 times to
Right.
understand how you're trying to explain things.
And figure out if they even want to handle it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it may be not explaining it, you're not telling them anything useful
No.
to them.
And that's true, because if I say something, Sean will say, what have you told me that for? And I'm
Yeah.
like, don't be rude. And he's like, well, I don't need to know that.
Right.
And the
I'm not
children,
going out today. Why are you telling me the weather?
yeah. And the children with autism, oh my God, they suffer with foot in mouth syndrome.
No, they can't lie.
You think I'm bad?
Right.
Sean will say something and then he'll look at me and I'll say, Sean, and he'll say, well, I haven't said nothing I didn't want to say.
Right. And those are some fun conversations. Those are
Yes.
some situations that it's like, oh wow.
And I bet because Brenda and Shannon understand all about her, I bet they've had some funny conversations as well.
Right.
Because I believe it's straight out of the mouth of babes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that without a doubt.
Very much so.
Because when I showed him my arm today, he said, is your arm going to fall off? I'm like, no. And he's like, but you need to get that sorted. It's the
Yeah.
little things that we think are little are massive things to them on times.
Right. Because it's not normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Their
And
brains work in weird and wonderful ways. That's the way I explain it.
yeah, because it's sometimes reverse engineered, sometimes it's over engineered, sometimes it's under engineered.
Yeah.
They've actually found that even the blood flow to an autistic brain will flow differently than the normal human blood flow.
Yeah.
And they don't know why.
Yeah. But then, if we were all the same, we'd be in a boring world.
Well, if we were all the same, we'd be in a totally boring world.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that's not what we want, because we're all unique and individual.
Right. And we all have unique ideas. And I think that, when we put people in boxes, it isn't good. Um, at all for anyone. I don't think that it's healthy. I don't think that it's part of the growth process. And I don't think it's why we're here.
And I agree. And do you know what, Brenda? That's how Sean is, because Sean won't talk to strangers. He can't make eye contact.
Right.
Because for him, it's not needed.
Right.
And the same as Brenda, people think he's rude, but they don't realise there's underlying things there.
Right.
Shannon, do you know it's funny you should say that? I have never, ever medicated Sean.
Well, just even normal medication, like cold medicine, they're going to process it faster.
Yeah. Yeah. This is going to sound so strange to some people.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't medicate Sean because he needs to learn to live with life.
Right.
He needs to learn to handle how to do things. Whereas if he's medicated, would that throw a different spin on things?
Well, the problem is I found that a lot of the medications that they started using weren't to improve cognition, improve communication, improve any of the problems. It was to numb them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about Sean and all the other children being able to live the life that they want to.
Right. And that life may be building motorcycles or working in a grocery store, but it's the life that they want, not the life the parent wants. Like, I don't know when we got this idea that everyone had to be doctors or lawyers.
Yeah. With both the kids, I've always said to them, you do what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about me. It's about you and what you want.
Right.
And I think that's what, as parents, we need to do. Is people say, oh, but I'm giving them too much freedom. No, you're not giving them freedom. You're giving them life choices.
Well, and that too much freedom. How can you get too much freedom? Are they out of the house at 5 a.m, hitting the street, beating up, old ladies down the street? No? Great. Leave your kid alone.
Yeah.
Let them figure out who they are and then accept them for who they are. That's the hardest things.
Yeah. Now, Shannon have mentioned a good point. They give meds to keep aggression down. Over here, Shannon, they use Ritalin a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the difference when a child have taken their meds and when they haven't.
Yeah. It's a lot more of a hollow view.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Alrighty. So.
Yeah. The other thing is, I think you need to encourage people.
Yeah.
Also the parents, because the parents are struggling. They've got no support. So it's always nice to say to the parents, how you doing? Are you okay? Because that could allow them to get a lot off their chest and a lot of worry that they've been holding on to.
Right. And also, especially early diagnoses.
Yes.
Parents always blame themselves. It's my fault. I got them a vaccine. Can we just stop this crap? Vaccines don't cause this.
Yeah.
Okay. What causes this is blood vein structure. So knock it off on that. Stop bringing back chicken pox because, and mumps and measles and rubella and, polio.
I often get asked if I knew then what I know now, would he still have had his jabs? Without a doubt, he would have.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. That's one thing I swear by.
Right. Because Sounds perfectly lovely. Well, I've had lovely conversations with him, in and out of meetings, that type of thing.
Yeah,
Fully
yeah,
functional, but he's not in an iron lung.
yeah.
Okay, where this study came from was one study that was botched. What I mean by that was the research was not done correctly. It's already
Right,
been
yeah.
misproven, but the new age people grabbed it and ran with it
Yes, yeah.
like town criers, and then passed it through all the other communities like town criers going, oh, and then no, it doesn't,
Yeah.
and hasn't and never
Ladies,
will.
ladies, have your children had all their jabs? Because it's always good, I think, to have the audience's input as well.
Oh, definitely. That's part of the conversation,
Yeah,
you know.
because Parker's now going through the process of having all his.
Mm-hmm.
A dose of Calpol 12 hours after having them, and he's as right as rain.
Right. Well, my question to you is have you had your measles, mumps, and rubella
Yes,
for the adult version?
yes.
Because when we took that, I could swear that we were told that was a one shot only. Now we got to
Over,
take it again.
over here, they actually do them in school as well, in high school.
Right. But I'm saying after that, you're supposed to be done.
Yes, yeah. I'm fully done, and I make sure the boys are.
Right. No, we had to get ours up.
Did you really?
Yeah, we had. The last doctor's appointment, guys, you got to get your measles, mumps, and rubellas. And we're like in our 40s. And they're like,
Yeah,
we had those when we were 18. Nope, you've got to get them up again.
yeah,
Because of the
yeah,
new. We had cases of measles here. These are diseases we eradicated in the 70s and 80s.
yeah. This is going to sound so random, but my main thing with the boys with mumps was,
Right.
I always remember my nan telling me, if the boys have mumps, it can leave them infertile.
Mm-hmm.
That was a massive part of me having them done, because I
Well,
wanted them to have the life of
right.
being parents themselves.
Right. And, your child may get measles and perfectly fine with it. But the child, the neighbor's child that he plays with all the time may get it and die. This is the
Yes,
reason we had these shots invented.
yeah. And Shannon's just saying now, even though hers were delayed, her children's were delayed, they still had them done.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, no matter how old they are having them done. Having them done is a big thing.
Right. And as adults, go and get them too. It's like
Yes,
whoopie.
yes.
Not an
We've
adult vaccination.
we've got over here, it's rife at the moment, is chicken pox and hand, foot and mouth.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So that's sweeping through everything. But now everything have closed for summer.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it'll die down again.
Hopefully. But, that's another one I would get Parker.
Yeah,
Make sure he gets that one.
yeah. If you think about it, when we were kids, if your neighbours had chicken pox, if you have had that jab, you were still going to that house to play with them because your parents were adamant you had it when you were young.
Right. But we didn't have to worry about it.
No, no,
And chickenpox are deadly to humans,
yes,
mainly adult humans. Like, it's not
yeah,
the kids. The kids get a little cold, they get scratchy, itchy.
yeah,
Okay? You give them some eardrops, they go to sleep for a few days, they wake up, the skin clears up.
yeah,
It's deadly to adults.
yeah, because it turns into shingles, if I remember rightly.
It does. If you've had chickenpox, it'll turn into shingles as you get older. But say you get chickenpox now at your age, it's deadly to you.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Insane. It's insane that we're going back almost 100 years.
And that's the thing, we are going backwards disease-wise than progressing.
Right.
But do you know why I think that is as well? because of COVID, everybody's immunity dropped.
Well, part of it is that, but the other part of it is that you have the anti-vaxxers that are making choices for their children's lives. We have people that, like, a cow gets chickenpox, they're bringing their kids over to get it and having chickenpox parties.
Oh, God. No, we used to, like, play with, when we were younger, and I mean like 3 or 4, if a neighbour had chickenpox, you'd go and catch them then because you were vaccinated, so it was better to have them at that age.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know whether that was just like an old wives' tale.
Mm-hmm.
But I think both of mine have had chickenpox once.
I haven't, luckily.
Yeah. Touch wood.
Oh, honey, my desk is wood. It's like I didn't have pink eye until I was in my 40s.
Really? And the measles have got a higher death rate in children than chickenpox.
Yeah.
That's really distressing to think that people are doing that.
I know. Like, this is the level of insanity. Like, when we were growing up, it was no question. You either were a neglectful parent or you got the jabs.
Yeah.
For the betterment of not only your child, but every child that your child interacted with.
Let me just check something. Because over here as well now, they've started doing, I think it's a cervical cancer jab.
Yeah.
Let me just check.
HPV.
That's the one.
Yep. 12 years old.
Yeah. I'd say it's about the last 10 years they've started doing that as well.
Right. Which is amazing, in my view.
Yes. Yeah. Right, where are we? Right, they offer in years 8 and 9, which is about 12, 13, the HPV vaccine, the ACWY, that's against meningococcal.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a type of meningococcal. Yeah, yeah. They still have the MMR in school. They'd offered the flu vaccine. And they do the booster.
Right.
That's what they do over here.
Do you know what's scary? We could have people with consumption again.
Really?
Really?
See, I'm a great believer in if you look after children's health,
right,
they will pay you back later on in life.
Yeah. They choose good nursing homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. You're going to be kind of generous because you don't want to go in a shitty nursing home.
Exactly. Personally, I don't plan to go to one at all, but you know.
That's right, Parker's here now.
All right, my darling, we've covered a lot of information, a lot of stuff. I'm going to remind everyone this is not medical advice. We are not doctors. I have a degree in metaphysician. Yes, I have a doctorate in divinity. That doesn't mean I'm writing you a prescription, but I will say go talk to your physician. Make sure you got your shots up. I don't care what age you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Right.
And it's nice to be able to have a conversation, especially with our regulars, Brenda and Shannon, who come in nearly every week.
Right.
But they were able to give their input because they knew where we were going with the whole conversation.
Right. And, our Spotify audience can comment below.
Yes.
You know.
I still haven't got Spotify yet.
Oh, you're missing some good content.
I'm going to have to download it.
Right. Well, you're an Apple user. You can find us over on iTunes.
Yeah.
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 So what are you working this week, and where are you working?
Life Reader and Fortunica.
Okay.
I have been logging on to Psychic.
Zodiac.
That's the one. I went completely blank. But it's really quiet on there at the moment.
That's one that is great to be storing and building.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. With that one, it runs on retention. So if you get a
Yeah.
good client on the second, you got to keep moving and you're like interacting and building and touching base to build that customer base up.
But at the moment, Life Reader is just so busy.
Oh, it stays busy. I love Life Reader. They're so sweet and nice. You can find her link in the below for your privates. If you want to click that and message her, you can get a private reading. My appointments are a little bit all over. We're trying a new style of schedule this week. You'll love this new schedule. I'm only working 40 hours. I'm only working 3 hours at a time.
Good.
Okay.
It's about time you put yourself first and your health.
Well, I let Joe design my schedule this week. We're going to see how it does.
And you can't go against that schedule.
Well, I can. I do have override authority, but no, I'm letting him help me work my schedule because I have a small problem with work.
Yes. The thing is he stood there and that's why you're laughing?
Yes, he's standing there threatening to throw pens at me.
I could tell because your facial expression changed.
Yeah.
But we don't finish work when we log off.
No, we don't.
We have emails to answer.
Mm-hmm.
You have clients that try and get your attention, even when you're not logged in.
Mm-hmm.
So our job don't finish just when we log out.
Well, that and I'm doing other things. I've got courses I'm building. I'm also writing. I've also, doing some coaching sessions. So all that wraps in. I'm still working what I normally work. I'm just not open for certain things, open during all the time I'm at the office. So that way I can actually give a real focus to what I'm working on.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. See, even Brenda says you listen to Joe.
I know I have to listen to Joe.
The thing is, did Joe listen to you? Oh,
He
look
does.
at that. There's a pen coming his way.
No, he has we work really well together in business. It's one of the key facets of our relationship.
Yeah.
Something I'm really enjoying is as you can tell, this is my recording studio. We recently moved my office into his office. And that really reminds me of when we first started dating because my office was his office.
Yeah, they like lovesick puppies.
Yeah, it's just how we work. We work better, especially with me needing at times people right there on top of me. Well, not on top of me, but body doubling me. It works really well.
And it means he can keep an eye on you. So when you get him vexed, he can tell you, break.
Knock it off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Now I'm checking because we do have some special some special codes for our listeners. I got to see when they pop up. We do. So Fortunica on August 1st is having a 15% off sale on their rituals. And here is the special code for that. This is just for our listeners. Go ahead and use that code. I don't offer these services. Do you?
No.
Do you have one who you'd recommend over there?
I really don't know because the readers, we don't get the opportunity to speak to many readers on there. It's very, very rare. So
There's that one girl, and she lives. you'll know the one I'm talking about. She's always in the meetings. She has the really bushy red hair, and she lives in somewhere in one of the islands.
Hang on, I'll be able to tell you who that is because I got the app in front of me.
Awesome.
Where are we? Right, let's have a
She's
look.
the one that also does the intimacy readings, and she's right there on that board with me.
Do you mean Amanda?
No, it starts with a T, I believe.
You what, sorry?
I think it starts with a T.
Because I know Smitta does.
Smita, that's her. That's her. I'm sorry.
Smitta is brilliant. That is
She
one
is.
of the readers I do communicate with. I would definitely advise Smitta for a ritual reading.
Yes, she does wonderful work. It's very good work. Go ahead and use that code. Get 15% off between the August 1st and August 3rd.
Do you know, I wonder if that's something we could do at the end of every session.
Give
Is
the sales. Yeah.
say what because we know like what they're offering specials on.
Right. Yeah.
And we
And
could give advisors that we recommend that we
in those areas.
communicate with. Yeah.
Right. In
Yeah.
those areas, definitely. But no, Fortunica has became a partner, just part of our partnerships, and they're giving our audience special discount codes.
Yeah.
So in the chat here is the discount code. If you're a Spotify listener, it'll be in the show description.
Yeah. Smitta is lovely. Can I just remind guys that don't expect your reading back within an hour. I think they've got something like a 24-hour turnaround because they are really time consuming to do.
Very much so. But spell blah, 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 spell that. Spell her name for them.
Smita.
There you go. All right. So I'm doing my new schedule. You can always book appointments in the bottom. Oh, okay. We have a PC set up on it going on the side. So
Joe, piss off until we finished, will you?
I don't think he can stop the install. All right, thank you. We want to thank our patrons. Thank you, Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Joan Owens, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, Devin, and Maria Myers. If you would like to support the show, you can always visit pcspnetwork.com. And we will see you next Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and hopefully I won't be sweating so much then.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll get you when you're cold, and I'll remind you of this.
And I'm sat to you with my big thing on going.
Uh-huh. And, also I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. for the Psychic Coffee Shop. Until then, guys, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.